Hello and welcome to another Focus for Football podcast. We've got a familiar face on this podcast. Ethan, how are you?
Well, I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. And
I feel
we've
like I'm
got
going to be annoyed at some point today, but
yeah, probably.
We've got
and we've got a special guest today, Nathan, coaches alongside with Ethan. How are you, Nathan?
I'd be a lot better if United didn't lose, but
yeah, we've got to live up to it, haven't we?
Lose, get battered.
We do.
Right, so today we are doing a Manchester United and Chelsea combined 11. So I'll let you two discuss it, and then if there's anything you two can't decide on, I'll jump in. Try not to be biased because obviously I'm a United fan. So let's start with the goalkeeper.
I'll let you
just start a conversation about this before we started recording. And I have heard one of the biggest insults I think I've ever heard in my life.
How is that an insult?
You've just told me before we started recording that you think Kepa is a better goalkeeper than Mendy.
I do. And I think other Chelsea fans would agree with me on that.
I don't think they will, mate.
I think if Mendy was in goal yesterday, that you'd have lost to Palace.
I think maybe at the moment he's having a bad patch. Mendy's up there for one of the best goalkeepers in the world. His save ratio.
Moving on to right back. Sorry, no, I haven't even said my keeper. I have gone for De Gea. But for me, I was deciding between De Gea and Kepa.
So Ethan, who have you picked? Mendy, I'm guessing.
I went with Mendy, but even as I'm backing Mendy 100%, but I know I'm not winning this one because you're a United fan, and I also know you're a goalkeeper that loves De Gea. So if it comes down to a crunch, you're going to pick De Gea. I would pick De Gea over Kepa. Like, I'm just mind blown. I will put De Gea in. But
I was actually not going to pick De Gea based on this season. I was going to pick Mendy, but we'll stick De Gea in if you want.
Oh, no, if you're going Mendy, that's two.
If you want to go Mendy, yeah, go for it.
We'll have Mendy.
We'll go Mendy based on this season because obviously De Gea today, not the best.
Today,
today he wasn't the best, but I also don't think you can blame him for many of the goals. There's a couple questionable.
But then people will look at the Brentford games and the games we were finding the form. You know, that's where you look at De Gea and go, "Oh, he's shit," but he's not. He's a class keeper, and he's proven it in games where we've needed him really. So, I'll go with Mendy this season.
I think neither had form this season.
No, I agree on that. Yeah,
struggled with form, but I think saves wise, maybe De Gea's made a couple more. But I feel like Mendy looks after the ball a bit better.
Yeah, I think the problem with De Gea is, collecting the ball from set pieces, things like that.
Yeah,
distribution.
He's not got as much control, I don't think.
No. But then again, Mendy, I think, is prone to making mistakes as well. Sorry, carry on.
Right, let's move on to the right back then. Who have you both picked?
Let me check.
I've gone. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I've gone for Reece James right back.
Now, this is where it's interesting. I've got Reece James down.
Yeah.
However, the more I think about it this season, you could have argued a lot in there. But I'm not going to argue it. I'll go with James.
Okay.
We'll agree to that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I generally thought one of you would have picked a lot based on this season, but if you've both gone James,
you know me, Aaron. I'm a big Reece James fan, so I'm not going to argue it.
Then watch left back. You'll say Luke Shaw.
Where are we going next?
Let's go the right centre back.
Well, it depends which round you put these, though, doesn't it?
Well, it just depends, right? We'll go both centre backs. Go on, Ethan. You give me one, and then Nathan give me two.
Right. I've got one for each club here.
Yeah, I think I know which two you're going for, but I agree with one and I don't agree with the other.
You know which two I'm going for. Koulibaly. I think Chelsea has changed their defensive shape since he's been there, and I think he's done bits. You could argue Thiago, but I just think Koulibaly's better attacking as well. My other one, Martinez. I think United's defence despite the big losses they've been having, they could have been a lot bigger had they not have had Martinez at the back. I think he's very good at pocketing players, like your Salahs, like your Haalands. Okay, he didn't do so well at today, but
I think the thing with him is he'll leave one on a player, won't he? He'll give someone an elbow and let them know that he's there for the rest of the game. And he might not be the most technical centre back, the best centre back in the league in terms of his defence, but I think his mentality, and he'll throw himself in front of anything. He's fearless, I think.
So have you got him in your squad?
Yeah, I've got Martinez in there alongside Thiago Silva.
Right, Aaron, we're going to throw it over to you then. Thiago.
So, I personally think that Chalobah's better than both of them.
Okay.
I generally do. I think he's a good player, young as well. He's got time to develop being a natural centre back. But if I had to pick one, I'd pick Koulibaly.
I was between Silva and Koulibaly, to be fair.
Yeah, I think Koulibaly, he's done it against Liverpool in the Champions League with Napoli. He's a big presence in the back line for Chelsea at the minute. You can see it when he's not played.
His leadership as well, isn't it? He's not just on the ball. Off the ball.
He's done well at Napoli, leading them. It's a shame he's not there now, really, because Napoli are in great form. I do reckon Napoli could concede less goals if they had Koulibaly at the back. But yeah, I think Koulibaly does more for Chelsea than Thiago Silva does defensively wise. They're both great leaders, but defensive wise, I think Koulibaly's physicality is better. Defending, they're about the same. And aerial, I think they're just as good as each other. But I just think Koulibaly, with his physicality, he's better than Thiago Silva.
And you've got to mention his volley from the corner.
Oh, there we go.
Best goals I've ever seen.
Right, so let's move on to your left back then, boys. Who've you got?
I'll let Ethan go first on this one because
I've gone Cucurella.
Right, I've gone Malacia.
Yeah, that's easy. You can have Malacia.
I think if it was a combined Premier League 11 from when Cucurella was at Brighton, no doubt in my mind it would be Cucurella. But from Brighton, I think he suited Brighton a bit more, and I think he's injured now, isn't he? At the moment, Cucurella. But as much as I love him, Malacia this season.
My argument would be Chelsea have got three of the top left backs, or one of the top left backs in the league. They've got Alonso, they've got Chilwell, and they're still choosing him over them both. Surely that proves how good he is.
You've got that, but then Alonso and Chilwell aren't having the best season, are they? Like they've played, they've not really performed, I don't think.
I haven't watched much of Chelsea, but don't he play the five at the back? So Cucurella's like a wing back.
Yeah, he's more a winger.
I would rather, but it's every manager, every person would prefer Cucurella because he's played left mid, and he's good at defending. So they would play him over Ben Chilwell because I think Chilwell's more of a defensive player. He can cross the ball, and don't get me wrong, but most players can. Like Luke Shaw, he's not been mentioned, but he can cross the ball in. But I will stay on this one, Malacia, and it's not me being biased. I just think he can defend, and exactly the same as Martinez. He'll either win the ball or hurt the man. But when he wins the ball, he makes sure that the other player knows that he's there, and he can whip a ball in. You look at him at the club he came from before he signed for United, and he was doing the exact same there. He was class, absolute class. But I just think Malacia deserves to be there in the left back position.
They're both no-nonsense defenders, aren't they? Martinez and Malacia. So
that's just the Netherlands leagues. You never know.
Yeah,
maybe that's just how they play.
Yeah.
I don't think you've seen him at his best yet. I think there's more to give from him.
Yeah, yeah. But then I also say the same about Cucurella. You haven't seen the best of him yet in a Chelsea shirt.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
True. I'm not going to argue it. I think Cucurella, but
right. So what formation are we playing then?
I was just about to ask that.
4-3-3.
I played a 4-3-3, but with one central defensive.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, let's move on to CDM. That's made it a lot easier.
Yeah. Okay. I've gone for Kovacic in CDM.
Oh, this is interesting.
Okay.
Because I've gone for McTominay.
Questionable. Okay.
So we've gone each other here.
Now, even as a United fan, like I know a load of United fans absolutely hate McTominay. They want him gone. I like McTominay personally. I think he's passionate. You know, he'll put the work in 100%. But I think he's not consistent enough. I think a lot of games he just won't turn up, or he makes too many mistakes. And I think Kovacic is just sort of a better defensive midfielder. He'll hold the defense. He'll hold the midfield a lot better as a single defensive midfielder than McTominay would.
See, I think this is going to be quite thingy, but I would say McTominay's better at defensively.
Okay.
I think you're looking at him making goal line clearances, and he's always in the way there, whereas I think Kovacic sits quite high.
Made one today.
When you look at Chelsea as well, I think, again, personally, I think with 5 at the back, we've got a stronger defence because we've got 5 there. Kovacic doesn't need to pull in as much, whereas McTominay, I think, does a lot of the work for the defence, especially when you've got like Lindelof, Maguire on. He's covering an extra position, isn't he? And he's got Fred alongside him. He's not got the best team round him. So I personally would say McTominay. I think Kovacic is a good shout, and he's a good player. I do like him, but I think this.
So have I got
down to Aaron on this one yet?
So Ethan knows I'm a big fan of Scott McTominay. I was last season. This season he's had a shaky start. And then Kovacic for Chelsea, he's a class player. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he'd suit the CDM role. I think if you're picking a Chelsea player to play a CDM role, you'd have to go to N'Golo Kante, really. So I'm going to stick. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was thinking. Kante was an option, but I didn't think.
He hasn't done enough.
This season, I don't think he's been at his best at all, and that's probably down to injury as well. But
so I'm going to agree with Ethan on this one and go Scott McSauce.
Scott McSauce.
What a player.
Scott McSauce.
Right, so let's see both of your midfielders then.
Okay, I want Ethan to go first on these two.
No, I've gone to Cam type midfielders.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I'm assuming I'm going to type one in sort of between the lines.
You've got Fernandez in there. I know that.
Nope.
What? Okay, so I've got Fernandez in there.
Okay.
I think he took a backward step when Ronaldo came into the squad. I think since Ten Hag has took out Ronaldo, I think Bruno's coming back. And I think a lot of United's play goes through him without you realising.
Yeah, there is that. I think you're exactly right on that, but you don't realise how much he actually does.
Yeah. He doesn't score the goals so much as he sets them up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he's not scared to take a risk. So when a pass doesn't come off, that's all people remember. They won't remember the good passes he's made. And if we don't finish a chance that he's created, then it looks like he's done nothing because they just remember the time that he pinged the ball over and it's gone out for a goal kick.
He's a playmaker, isn't he, essentially, for United?
He is, yeah.
So I've got him in there. And then I know Aaron's face is going to go here. I've gone Kai Havertz. I love him. You can't quite see it, but on my wall there's about 50 photos of him. He's just one of the best players in the Prem.
Right. Now, I've gone for Eriksen and Havertz.
Yes.
I think Eriksen this season has been our best player. I think he's creative. He's I think in this system he'd be your sort of number 8 box to box midfielder. Helping out Kovacic, getting forward, and then Havertz would be sort of your more your deep lying playmaker, if you like. Getting further forward, supporting the attack. I like Havertz. I mean, he's not done anything in the Prem this season, 0 goals or assists in 7 matches. But I think he has shown his class for Germany. I think he's got like 3 goals and 2 assists for Germany this season. So yeah, that's why I have it in there.
Can I just mention something, Ian, about boys? Remember, you can play Havertz as a striker.
No,
I considered that.
I've got a striker.
I've put him at cam. I think he's better at cam. I've always said that.
I would argue, and I'm going to annoy a lot of United fans here. Eriksen's had his worst season he's had so far. I just think he's not the player he used to be. Since he had his moment in the Euros and whatnot, and he became unwell. Fair play to him for coming back out and carrying on, but I think the worst he's played is in the United shirt.
I completely disagree. Couldn't disagree more, and I'm sure Aaron's probably the same.
I can't imagine. We had this conversation earlier about Havertz and Eriksen. I can't imagine having Eriksen over Bruno on a squad. I think he's not the player everyone makes out to be. He looks good because he's alongside Bruno.
Yeah, you say that, but I feel like it's the opposite way around. Bruno looks good because he's alongside Eriksen at the moment. I think Eriksen has played some of the balls he's played this season have been no other player on that pitch, not even Bruno, would have played them, thought to play them, even seen the pass, and then to actually play the pass, I think he's done really well. And like you said, coming back from the Euros after that, and then going to Brentford, I think he was Brentford's best player. But I absolutely love Eriksen. I think he's playing really well at the moment.
I think he was best at Spurs.
I think I agree with Ethan and I agree with Nathan. Yeah, both. I agree with both of you. So I reckon we'll stick Eriksen in. But I reckon for the people at home who disagree with us, we'll do a poll on our Instagram page, Focus for Football, and we'll see who people choose, Bruno or Eriksen. Does that sound a decent idea? Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Right. So let's move on to the left winger.
Ethan, do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I'm going to let you go first on this one, mate.
Okay. For my left winger, I've gone Sancho.
Right. Well, I'm just going to type him in because I've gone Sancho. I think it's hard not to argue that.
Yeah.
He's carried United at the start of the season, in my eyes. He has been by far United's best player, personally.
I can't really say I disagree. I think him and Eriksen have been the two standout players this season for me.
Yeah. And I also think Chelsea don't really have a left winger. You've got Pulisic.
No, there is that, yeah.
Doesn't play.
No.
And you've got a couple of wings that don't play on the wing, so I'm happy with that.
Don't play on the wing, or you're trying to put a winger in that striker position. So let's move over to the striker position.
I think Sancho's the man. Striker.
Yeah.
Now, I'm waiting for the name Ronaldo to go into this.
Nope.
No, we can't. Ronaldo. Come on, let's not be soft.
I think Ronaldo has been a great player for years, but I think he needs to leave United.
I completely agree.
I think it's better for him, better for the club.
Yeah.
My striker, I've gone with Raheem Sterling.
Okay.
I think he's stood out for Chelsea. Since he's come in, we've had a new lease of life up front.
Yeah, I've gone exactly the same. I've put Sterling up top.
Happy days. I think you could give Rashford a shout, but
I think I'd have put Rashford if he'd have had a decent performance today. But I think he's had 2 good performances, and people have said he's back to his best, and I know that he's not back to his best at all. I think today he was lazy, he was slow pressing, he wasn't getting enough of the ball, which
But you could argue that was most of Manchester United today.
Yeah, you could do.
Yeah. I would argue. I think that Rashford has had better games than Sterling, but Sterling's been more consistent.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the thing with Rashford today was one of those players.
Who's Raheem Sterling doing it for? He's doing it for an okay side Chelsea team, but Rashford's doing it it's my team, so I can call them shit. My team, I support them. A shit Manchester United side. Rashford's doing it. I'm not, we've had this conversation all day. He scored against Liverpool and he scored against. Did he score against Arsenal?
He scored 2 against Arsenal.
Oh, there you go then. I can't say anything because I'm the host. You two have picked Sterling, so we'll have Sterling in the team.
Okay.
Go on,
right. So this one, I think we can all agree on this third one. So who've you got in right wing?
Do you know I've gone Anthony right wing?
Yeah, I've changed mine since the pub. Yes, I had Anthony, and I wouldn't argue it, but I have put Rashford on that side.
Okay, I considered putting Rashford in, and then I considered where I'd put him in, either right wing or striker. But I think he plays better as a striker, and I think Sterling would be better at the moment up top than Rashford.
Like I said, I wouldn't argue it.
Can't we do Jadon Sancho as a right winger, Sterling as a left winger,
and put Rashford up top? Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh,
because you don't like changing it.
I don't think Sterling is as good on the left as he is up front.
What makes you say that?
I just think since he's been up front, he's involved. Well, he was on the left wing for City. I know it was last year, but I don't think he was half the player he is now.
Another thing about Chelsea, though, Sterling's going to have to play on the wing with their new Simon Aubameyang.
I think they both played up top yesterday, didn't they?
I think that's
Chelsea, did Chelsea not play a 4-4-2 yesterday?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they did.
Sterling couldn't be bothered to run back.
I think they had Mount on the left midfield and Havertz on the right.
Is that a one-off for Chelsea though? Is that because isn't it Aubameyang's first or second game in for Chelsea?
First game in the Premier League, yeah, and he scored. So
there you go. Maybe they're just trying things, seeing if Aubameyang's still got the legs to play up front, because obviously Sterling has got the legs. He can run. We've seen him do it in a Man City shirt. You've seen him do it in a Chelsea shirt with the legs. I'm not saying you've seen the best out of Sterling, but you've seen him with the legs at Chelsea. Maybe they're just trying a few things, because obviously Aubameyang's been sitting on the bench at Barcelona since Lewandowski came in. So maybe they're just trying a few things. But if you boys want to, because I will be agreeing with Nath on the right winger. I don't think Rashford's good enough to play on the wing anymore. I think he's becoming a natural striker. I'd prefer him if he was in a front three to play in the middle, because he's got the pace to run through the line of the attack, and that's where your Eriksen, your Kai Havertz can play quick through balls through the line, and Rashford running on the end of it. That's what you would want. So I will agree with Anthony on the right. Yeah.
We're going Anthony then, are we?
Yeah. Do you need help to spell it, pal?
No, I've moved everything around, so I can't remember where everything was. Goodbye, Rashford.
Right, and one more big one, boys. I think this is the one where we'll have the best discussion because I know Nath likes. I think Nath likes a bit of Erik ten Hag.
I do.
Chelsea go through managers like hot meals, so
I do.
who's the manager?
One word out there, which will prove my point exactly. Consistency. Okay. I think Ten Hag has no consistency at the moment.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So, but I take it this is between Ten Hag and Graham Potter.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen enough of either of them, to be honest, because obviously you've got that Brighton side that Graham Potter's he's absolutely, what he did with that Brighton side was mental.
Yeah, but then you could also argue it's not just the manager that wants to win games because I seen Brighton against Liverpool, and Brighton properly battled against Liverpool to win to get a point out of that game.
But
that's exactly what I was just about to say. I think it comes down to the players. I think the team that they've got has gelled really well, and they want to win games. And I don't, obviously it could be down to the manager partly, but I think that
I think it is. I think it's down to the players to perform, and then it's down to the manager. Like today, I agreed with Nathan. I think Ten Hag got the formation wrong from the off.
Completely, yeah.
I think it's down to the managers to play a good formation, to get the tactics. In the first half, we've seen United sitting off, like didn't even want to bother playing football, just waiting to play on their counter attack. And then we've seen a bit more from United in the second half against Man City today. We've seen more us wanting to get the ball into their box, nice little passing in their half instead of just getting peppered with shots in the first 2 minutes of the first half. And then Graham Potter, I think. So Ten Hag, I think on that perspective, he got it right in the second half. I think he's a good manager. He's done it with Ajax. That Champions League run they had when Ten Hag was there, I thought was amazing. And then also, I think a great that Potter geezer, Graham Potter. You look at is he gonna do well with Chelsea in the Champions League, playing against Spanish, French teams, Italian teams? Is he going to do well against these foreign clubs compared to the English clubs he knows how to play against, being with Brighton?
Yeah,
that's the question you asked.
I think it's a difficult one because we're obviously both going to back our own clubs manager-wise. However, I don't think we've really seen enough of either manager.
No,
to make a decision. They're both good managers. They both come from decent clubs, but we've not seen them with the squad they're with enough to make a decision.
Yeah.
So how about let's just end it? Put Alex Ferguson in, and he'll
put Alex Ferguson in.
Yeah.
I would say
as well.
Tuchel was a better manager than both of them. And I think it was a mistake to get rid of him.
I agree with that. I think getting rid of Tuchel was the worst mistake that club has made.
The thing that annoys me is when clubs let a manager sign all the players they want and then not give them enough time to make it work.
Yeah.
They let Tuchel sign loads of new players, Sterling, Aubameyang. They let him sign them players and then sack him off straight away.
They let him sign about 5 defenders, and then
look at Frank Lampard.
Exactly, yeah.
He won the Champions League with a bunch of kids, and then when he was allowed to buy his own players, he got thrown out of Chelsea. Chelsea went on to do loads. He got sent to Everton, and look what he's done for Everton.
Yeah,
I just think it's time.
Kept Everton in the Premier League.
They're doing well, Everton, to be fair. Connor Cody was one of the best signings they've ever made.
So, come on, we can't pick Tuchel, so we have to pick Erik ten Hag or Graham Potter.
I think you could argue either at the moment. Ronaldo. No, I genuinely think you could argue either.
Side manager.
I mean, obviously, with Chelsea, we've not seen anything really from Graham Potter.
So it's going to be down to me, isn't it, really? So
basically, yeah. I'm saying Ten Hag, he's saying Graham Potter.
So I think
say Ten
only
Hag.
because, like, this is not because I'm a United fan. Besides, you, Ethan, you might think it is, but the only reason I'm going Ten Hag is because I've seen Ten Hag do it in the Champions League with Ajax. We haven't seen Graham Potter in Europe yet.
I would say as well, I feel like Ten Hag's been at United a little bit longer than Graham Potter.
He has been. He's been there through all the pre-season, buying the players. But then that's down to Chelsea for not, because if they didn't want Tuchel there, then they should have just sacked him off as soon as, they shouldn't have even assigned him to be the manager.
I think they brought him in to make the purchases, haven't they? That's what they brought him in for.
Pretty much.
They didn't like his style of play, but they liked the players he was buying.
So are we all happy with this 11-a-side team?
Yes.
Yep.
Not entirely, but yes, mainly.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, like
he needs to go. But he's the worst United player I've seen in a while.
There's something wrong with you.
I don't like him. I really don't.
So 5 Chelsea players, 6 Man United players. Ethan, are you saying you're happy except from Eriksen?
I think Kovacic should be there instead of Eriksen.
You can't say that. You pick Bruno Fernandes, mate.
Or Bruno. But other than that, I'm happy.
What about you, Dave? Are you happy with that?
No, to be fair, I'm fairly happy with that. Obviously De Gea over Mendy, and that's about it, really.
Right, just for those who are just listening, Aaron's going to read the lineup for you. Go on, Aaron, what's our final lineup?
So in goal, we have Mendy. Right back, we have Reece James. 2 centre-backs, Koulibaly and Martinez. Left back, we have Malacia, and then we're playing the 4-3-3. So in the CDM, we have Scott McTominay, best known as Scott McSauce. In the 2 midfielders, we have Eriksen, Havertz. Left winger, we have Sancho. Up front, Sterling, and then on the right, Anthony. That's not Anthony Elanga, that's Santos Anthony. Something like Santos, isn't it?
Yeah. And then you got Ten Hag as manager.
As the manager.
I'm happy with that.
Right then. Thank you for coming on the podcast, Nath.
No problem.
Thank you for having me. You've got to be here. So this will be uploaded soon. When it's uploaded, the poll will be out for Eriksen or Bruno Fernandes on the Instagram, which is Focus for Football Podcast, in the bottom right of the screen. Thank you for watching and see you next week.
Bruno's better. Bye.